Hey guys, Killer Whale here. I know it's been a while since I uploaded an arena gameplay, so I decided to take this one and put it up. I do not do too well when it comes to aiming and shooting in this one. No, not to make excuses, but yeah, I'm gonna make excuses. I was playing on a new TV. It was a high def, and it had horrible input lag, so it was affecting my aim tremendously, but whatever. I uploaded the game for two reasons. One, because everyone in this game happened to be some of the best players that were searching in the arena at the time. Like, everyone in here is tremendously good at arena, everyone on both teams, so it was a really good game, even though I didn't do too well individually. And the other reason is, even if I didn't do too well, I can still explain to you guys how to play this map the way I do, the way I think is the best way. So, here we go. Off the start of this, no one on our team went to top gold because, unlike MLG, there's nothing at top gold in default reach that is worth getting at all. So we just move back to the bases by hollows, and we control back there, and we try to keep the sword area under our control the whole time so we can get that when it spawns at 10:10. As you can see, we have two of our players are in the red base, the other one's in blue, and their whole team is trapped at top gold, so it looks like we're probably going to get the sword. And even though my aim isn't the best, I'm still just, I'm poking out at enemies my teammates call out, and just putting shots while the enemy is already fighting, so I don't really have to fight any one-on-ones, I'm just trying to weaken everyone. Now their team has started to make a push here. They're sending a couple people through bottom hollows, they had one in top middle, because they want to get to the sword, which is the main power weapon on this map. Now I'm sitting in sword and I'm trying to keep them out of there for my teammates, so I'm weakening everyone who comes in and calling them out so my teammates can get them. I traded with one player and my teammates managed to kill the sword guy and push the last one out, so we pick up the sword for the first time. Once you have the sword on this map, the strategy is pretty much control the same spot you were doing to get the sword. You control hollows, you control red health pack and blue health pack, and the player with the sword has to try to stay alive. Not like I just did there. You have to try to stay alive and just pick up sword kills while enemies are pushing. So say a couple enemies are pushing, you try to find a way where only one or like the least number of them are coming from, and you quickly, like, you crouch there and you quickly sprint around the corner, try to sword them, and then get back in. You want to pick up kills where you have little chance of dying, while the rest of your team's job is to shoot at long range, call out enemies, try to figure out how to best keep most of the enemies out so the sword guy doesn't get overwhelmed. Now here I'm just my usual spot on Zealot once we control a base is to crouch on one of those two connectors, red or blue connector, and just try to team shoot at enemies my teammates are calling out. But once I couldn't see any enemies from the connector, I moved my position to over here to better see the enemies my teammates were calling. You want to remember that you have to maneuver yourself so that you can see the spots that your teammates are calling out, but never just go to a position where you're probably going to die, like red or blue street when you have no teammates at top gold. You want to stay in places where you're safe, but you can still see the majority of your teammates' call-outs. As the team I'm playing with during this game is a very aggressive team, so I knew if I just stayed back and supported them, I'd be able to help them get a lot of kills and maybe clean up a lot of the kills they were getting. Because I didn't want to be right up in the action, because as I said, my aim was horrendous. Now once again, we have two guys in red, two guys in blue, just holding it. We see one going to hollows, so I call him out and move this way a little bit to see if he'll pop back out of the bottom. But they managed to push our team out of blue, and I sort of predicted they'd try to follow him, so I made one enemy back off. I get trapped here in the red base with swords, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to stay by these doors, because there's one enemy coming through this door, and there is another enemy who is going to come by walkway here on the connector, so I'm just trying to stay alive in the base, crouch around a lot so I can pick up sword kills one at a time. Now here, enemies are sandwiching me, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to get the one that walks in first. I realize I'm not going to win, so I sprint away as soon as he moves in enough to give me an opening, and I lift away with the sword. Now, having sword up at top gold or the landings is a pretty bad idea, but, you know, the best thing to do once you end up being up here is try to figure out a way to get back into either blue or red health pack, because that's always the most effective place to use the sword. And we get lucky and they get a bottom gold spawn while we're all at top gold so we can actually shoot down on them and keep them trapped down there and weaken them. Here, one dropped in from space. I called him, tried to jump him, sword him, but I couldn't get him in time. But my teammates managed to, since they're right at top gold and top blue, they pushed him away so that they wouldn't get the sword. Very lucky. Teammate called that out, and I managed to not get punched by him. We clean up both the guys at bottom blue and then jump up. Pushing our way back into hollows and blue again, now that we're trying to get back our power position on the map. Now, I knew this guy was going to drop when he was no shields, because enemies who are on connector, if you get them weak, they'll usually just drop right off the side, so I went down low and tried to watch where he was going to land. Unfortunately, I get trapped because they have the sword now. Now, once again, they're starting to catch up just a little bit because they have control of these inner bases and they have the sword. What you want to do when they're in there is try to get cross-map shots to weaken the enemies. And when you get one enemy to no shields inside one of these bases, red or blue health pack, that's when you want to push in because that means they have one player down. You outnumber them. So stay long range till you can weaken a few of their players, throw some grenades. If you can kill a couple of them, that'd be great. But once they're like 4 players are weakened or one of them's down, that's when you want to push in with everybody and make sure your callouts are just going strong. You need to know where the sword is during that because he can destroy an entire push. At this point, with a 47-39 lead, we got the new sword, we control the bases, it's pretty much over. You just play cautiously because the sword can turn it around, so make sure you don't lose that. Here I'm just trying to pick up one kill. I know my teammates are calling out everything, so I know where not to go. They start calling out enemies at bottom hollows, so I switch to my DMR and run over and try to help with them, but they've already got them. It's game over. Alright guys, this is probably my last arena video. Everything from now on is most likely going to be MLG, so keep a lookout.